slopes of lines. Now this hopefully should be a review. I know we covered this in geometry a little bit, and I'm sure in Algebra 1 you have also. We will learn two different ways to find the slope of a line. Your heading for today is slopes of lines. The lesson number is 2.2, and be sure and include today's date. Your heading for today is slopes of lines. The lesson number is 2.2, and be sure and include today's date. Alright, now, first, we're going to look at what the slope of a line actually is, and that also includes a definition. Then we're going to look at two special situations involving slope, and then we're going to look at two ways to find the slope of a line, okay? This is going to be a pretty short video, but it's very important that you understand what we're doing today. First of all, you are not responsible for this definition. I would still encourage you to write it in your notes, but that's up to you, okay? I'm not going to put this on a test, but I think you should write it down. The true definition of the slope of a line is the ratio. So you know you're going to have a fraction, okay? The ratio of the change in the height to the change in the horizontal. Okay? Now, height, of course, means the movement going up and down. Change in height. Horizontal means movement going left to right. And if you'll remember from Algebra 1, this ratio makes sense because rise over run is one of your formulas for slope. Rise referring to the change in height. How much did you rise? How much did you go down? And change in the horizontal refers to the run, going left, right. Okay? So, if what I just said there is a little confusing, you're okay. Just copy this definition down, and we're going to move on. But the slope of a line is the ratio. That means a fraction of the change in the height to the change in the horizontal. Okay? Now, here are some examples, so please copy these down. Here is a line that has a very gradual slope. It's not very steep. This line here has a very steep slope, okay? And it really doesn't matter if it's going left or right, it's still a steep slope. Now later on we're going to talk about positive slopes and negative slopes, and that deals with direction, okay, but not right now. This line here would have an average slope, okay? So slope, another way to say slope, is just the steepness of the line, if that helps you, okay? The slope of a line is the steepness of the line. How steep is the line, okay? So that's what we're going to be looking at today, alright? Okay, moving on. Now, let's talk about negative and positive slope. Take notes on this right now, please. It's very, very important. I'm going to draw a line going like this. Please copy that in your notes. And I'm going to draw a line like this. Please copy that in your notes. Now, always read a line going from left to right. Alright? Left to right. So students, please listen to me when you look at this line here. Where's the left side and where's the right side? Well, obviously, this is the left side. This is the right side. So starting from the left, like I said to do right here, starting from the left and going to the right, is it going up or down? Up. So in your notes, make note the slope of this line would be a positive number. Don't worry about the number right now, just make note to be positive. Any line sloping upward from left to right has a positive number for its slope, okay? I guess you could just say positive slope. Now, where's the left side of this line? Over here. Where's the right side? Over here. Going from left, starting with the left side and going to the right, is it going up or down? Well, it's going down from here to here. So anytime a line is sloping downward from left to right, we call that a negative slope, and thus, when you find the slope, it's going to have a negative number with it, okay? That's pretty simple. I'm moving on. Pause the video if you need to. Alright, pretty simple, but very, very important. Now, before we get into finding slopes. I'm going to show you two ways to do that. Let's talk about two special lines and their slopes, okay? In your notes, I want you to draw a perfectly, if I can get my pen to work here, hold on 1 second. I want you to draw a perfectly vertical line. And then draw a perfectly horizontal line. Somewhere in your notes, please draw those, okay? Very important that you do that. Now, a perfectly vertical line has, are you ready? No slope. You are also welcome to say, if you want to, the slope is undefined. I will accept either one of those two answers, okay? There is no slope that you can find for a steep line. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Come on. Would it be slope of 10, 100, 1,000, 1, 2, 3? I mean, it's really hard to measure a slope that is straight up and down. Now, if you have a line that's perfectly horizontal, I think it's very obvious what your slope would be. It's going to be 0. And of course, 0. Sorry guys, if you could hear that, my son was playing his wonderful video games. Alright, here we go now. Anyways, this is a horizontal line which has a slope of 0. Pretty simple. Makes sense to me. I mean, if you go to Ohio, where I'm from, it's cornfields and flat land, okay? Most of the roads there have a slope of 0. Here in Tennessee and Georgia, that's not the case. We've got mountains and hills all over the place, okay? So a vertical line, no slope or undefined. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. Got it? Okay. If I'm going too fast, pause the video and watch it again. Now, here's what we are going to do. We are going to find the slope. Listen to me carefully. We are going to find the slope of lines that are on a coordinate plane. Then we're going to find the slopes of lines that are not on the coordinate plane. Got it? So here we go. Problem number 1. Find the slope of this line here. So in your notes, I want you to draw a line, draw a coordinate plane very quickly, and then draw the line. Now when you do that, I want to draw your attention to something. Make sure the line passes through 2, 4. Okay, make sure the line passes through 2, 4, over 2 up 4, and negative 3, 0. Okay? Negative 3, 0. So I'll give you a second to do that, just a second. And then we're going to continue on. Make sure your line passes through this point here, over 2 up 4, and then this point here, over 3 to the left, so negative 3, and then up and down 0. So the two ordered pairs are 2, 4, and negative 3, comma 0. Okay? Alright, now, guys, I just can't stress this enough. Would you please listen to me? I get so frustrated when I explain this, and I don't always explain things well, but I do explain this well, and students don't listen. When you have, and by the way, if you want to go buy a package of graphing paper, we will use it throughout the year. If you don't, that's totally fine. You do not have to have graphing paper, your decision, okay? But look, see where all these little intersection places are on this graphing paper here? See all these little intersection places? They're all over the place. I call those crosshairs, okay? Like if you're looking down the scope of a gun, and that's probably not politically correct, but I'm going to say it anyways, and you see this little thing right here, they call that the crosshairs, okay? If you've ever hunted, you know what I'm talking about. So, I call all of these crosshairs, okay? Got it? So, whenever you're writing the slope of a graphed line, make sure that you highlight points that are going right through the crosshairs. For example, this would not be a good point to use because that's not right on a crosshair. This point right here would not be a good point to use because it's not right on a crosshair. Do you understand me? You want to use points that are right on the crosshairs. Like this point here goes right through the crosshairs. This point does too. And by the way, if there's more than 2, you can pick any 2 you want and you'll be totally fine. So are you with me so far? Now, after you've chosen those 2 points, you're going to use this formula here. Would you please make note of that? Rise over run. Now, after you've chosen those 2 points, you draw a right triangle. You're welcome to go straight up and then straight over. I have no problem with that, okay? Or you can go straight over and then straight up. But whatever you do, you better make sure your triangles are horizontal lines and vertical lines right here. You better go straight over and straight up, or straight up and straight over. Okay, I don't care which way you draw your triangle, but make sure you draw it right, okay? I'm going to use the red triangle just because I feel like it. Now, no certain reason. Now watch this. I want to know the rise. Now rise means the up and down, so I'm going to count from here up to here. In other words, I want to know the length of this side of the triangle. Here's my triangle right here. I want to know the length of the height of the triangle. So never count where you put your pen. Never count where you put your pen. Put your pen here, and then when you move, you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then check it. Make sure you did it right. Put your pen here and don't count until you move. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rise is 4. Now the run is the length of the triangle of the base or the horizontal side here, okay? So you put your pen here and you do not count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Let's count. Make sure it's right again. Put your pen here. Do not count until you move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, there's your slope, 4/5, okay? Now we're almost done. But remember, we gotta check our signs, okay? Here's the left side of the line. Here's the right side of the line. Starting with the left side and going up. Is it slanting upward or downward? Well, upward, so I have a positive slope, okay? Now, all of this is going to disappear in 1 second. So pause the video. If you need to write some of this down, I'm going to move on, okay? Pretty simple stuff. Now, students, please feel free to work at it if you would like to. As you're copying this in your notes, and please do so. The points, I'll tell you what, would you all do me a favor, please? Would you hold on and not copy this in your notes yet? First, let's all together find 2 points that are right on the crosshairs. So I'm going to follow my blue line along. Right there's a really good point. Now this one here looks like it's on the crosshairs, but I think it's off a little bit. By the way, in a test or a quiz, I'm not going to penalize you for highlighting a point that's really close. It's not a big deal to me. Now, let's find another point that goes right through the crosshairs. Well, I say booyah. This one right here, that one's awful. That's my opinion. If you used that one, I would have no problem. Now, you would get a little different answer than me, but that's okay. I'm not testing you on your eyesight. Okay, I'm testing you on your math abilities. I'm going to use this point here. Now, go ahead and draw your line and make sure you include this point here, which is -2, 2, over 2 to the left and up 2. And then students, this point here is over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, +6 and +1, 6 to the right, up 1. So go ahead and draw this in your notes, all right? And when you do, make sure these 2 points are on the line. I'll give you just a minute to copy this down. Students, you have the ability to listen while you're drawing or to pause the video. I'm going to move on now. What I've taught you to do is to draw a right triangle. You can go down and then over. That's fine. Or you can go up and then over. I don't care. It does not matter. I'm personally going to go down and then over to the right. That's me, okay? It doesn't matter. So here's your right triangle right here. There's your right triangle right there, okay? Right there. Doesn't look very good, but you get the idea. Now, remember our formula is rise over run, okay? So the rise is the height of the right triangle. Well, if you put your pen here and don't count until you move, you just get 1. So your rise is 1. Now your run, does. So your slope is negative 1/8. Negative 1/8. Okay. Alright, now, finally, lastly, let's find the slopes of lines that are not on a coordinate plane. So copy this in your notes. I want you to find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. Now, Mr. Earhart, that's the same thing. I'm just going to graph that point, negative 2, 5, and graph this point, positive 4, and then go up 9. Yeah, you can do that, but you're wasting a lot of time. And when you get to higher level math, there's no time for that, guys. No time for that whatsoever. So there's a really cool formula we can use. And by the way, M means slope. So when I gave you this formula earlier, rise over run, I should have said M equals rise over run. M means slope. So I would definitely make note of that in your notes. So in this formula over here I'm going to give you, we're going to say M equals. Here's the formula. Now you're probably saying, Mr. Earhart, you're giving me 2 different formulas. Okay? That's true, but this formula here is for when you have a graphed line. This formula here is for when you're given ordered pairs. So a line passes through these 2 points, find the slope. Guys, this is so easy. X, Y, X, Y. So Y minus Y, what are your 2 Y numbers? 5 and 9. So I have 5 minus 9. That's very simple. Now my X numbers are negative 2 and 4. So negative 2 minus 4, or negative 4. So there's your slope right there. Okay, so here we go. Positive 5, negative 9, negative 4, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6. A negative over a negative is positive. And you can reduce 4/6 to 2/3 and we're finished. And by the way, when you use this formula here, you do not need to check for positive or negative slopes. The formula does it for you automatically. Pretty cool, okay? Now I started with this Y and this X. I put this Y first, this Y second, this X first, and this X second, okay? You don't have to do that. You can actually put this point first if you want to. And I'm going to prove that to you in the next problem. So here we go. Copy this in your notes, please. My formula still remains Y minus Y over X minus X. Why am I using that formula? Because I do not have a graphed line. I'm just giving 2 ordered pairs that fall on the line. So let's find the slope. Now watch this, please. Here's your X, here's your Y, here's your X, here's your Y. Now remember, this time I'm going to put this Y value first. Students, you can put this Y value first as long as you put this X value first, okay? If you put this Y value first, then you better put this X value first here or you will miss the problem if you don't do that, okay? Alright, now, here we go. Y minus Y. So my 2 Y values are 1 and negative 7. So I have 1 minus a negative 7. Watch your signs, okay? Now the X values, because I started with this Y here, I'm going to start with this X here. My 2 X values are negative 3, negative 10. So negative 3 minus a negative 10. Now, if you struggle with your sign numbers, use your calculator. A negative makes this positive. Positive 1, positive 7 is positive 8. A negative 3, negative 10 makes that a positive 10. Negative 3, positive 10 is positive 7. A positive over a positive is positive. And you cannot reduce this. Students, you never want to write your slope like this. That is completely improper. Do not do that, okay? You leave it an improper fraction or a regular fraction, never a mixed number, okay? So your slope is 8/7, and that's all we're doing. Not too difficult, okay? I hope this video has been a help to you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to call or email.